politics is a popularity contest in a lot of ways, and the Democrats have nobody right now. So it's going to be interesting, man. Politics is the new pop culture.
Yeah, it is.
It just is. It is the new pop culture. And look at the Democrats. Who do they have? Stephen A. Smith is their front runner right now. That's how bad things are looking for them.
And even he said how pathetic that is. That if I'm the front runner, Stephen A. Smith on ESPN.
I mean, just a little imagery of J.D. Vance last night going, get him out. Get these people out of here.
We just played that, yeah.
It's little things like that J.D. Vance, and again, this is the credit to Donald Trump, who has had some problems with his personnel choices.
Renegade Online.
So how you guys doing? Are you discussing the great speech from last night?
We are. We were just about to hit the mark where Trump starts talking about ending DEI.
Perfect.
So let's go to it.
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
The impact on this is tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And we're talking in DHS. So the Department of Health, when they had sent out these surveys to schools, did you read through some of them?
I've seen some of them. I don't know specifically which ones you're referring to, but I think I know the ones you're talking about.
So the CDC had released a bunch of surveys that the schools were supposed to comply with. And in the surveys, it specifically asked teachers and principals what they are doing to encourage children to seek outside intervention, outside counseling, outside clinics to aid with their gender dysphoria. And that's all. And this is for grade school kids. So when I say that this stuff goes deep and it is meaningful and impactful, it absolutely is. We have kids being brainwashed at school, kids being brainwashed at home on video games, with TV, with movies, with songs, and it's just being shoved down their throats every single day. Everywhere they go. And, symbolism matters. You start to show symbols to kids and they will automatically attribute it to certain things. So if they're raised at a school where the majority of their time is spent knowing that a rainbow symbolizes pride rather than what it was originally supposed to symbolize, and pride is a good thing. If you were to say, oh, we shouldn't be putting rainbows on everything, this is too much, I don't want my kids being exposed to these types of lifestyles, these types of relationships. Well, you're a bad person because my teacher told me that you're a bad person. And it automatically creates this disconnect between you and the home, the child in the home. And that's exactly what the commies were doing. I study cult psychology all the time. This is what the communists do, is they come in and they say, your parents are not good parents. You need to listen to your teachers. You need to listen to the state because we know what's better for you. And as a matter of fact, if your parents don't allow you to do certain things, you need to tattle on your parents. You need to make sure that they are following the rules of the state because they are not good people.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, luckily my kid is getting to the point of, in college and all that now. But if I had a young child, if I had the resources, I would homeschool or even a private school, so you'd have a little more, direct contact as to what's going on. The public school system is terrifying. Now, under Trump, it's a whole different ballgame. And this is what I've said on my show many times. I hope that we appreciate what we're witnessing. Too often, we don't appreciate the moment because there's so much information on a daily basis with social media and all these other things. And we're always looking to the past of like, hey, remember how good we had it then? And appreciate what we have right now. The leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world, just stood on stage and says, we will not be a woke country ever again. Those are words I was using in my thumbnails 5 years ago. And he's standing on saying, I was told I was crazy for saying these things. And now we have the most powerful man in the world making those same statements. We will never, ever witness something like we're witnessing right now with the current Trump administration. It is historic, and I hope we appreciate it. It's unbelievable.
You know, on that topic, Jeremy, it's a great point. And my concern, I think a lot of folks out there, what would you say needs to be done? Because, you know, obviously Trump is not going to be here forever. And we've got to create something that's lasting, you know, instead of just a movement that's surrounded to the man, but surrounded to the idea, right? That's got to move on. So to keep this kind of stuff going after he's, you know, retires from office in 4 years or whatever, what do we do?
JD Vance. And this goes to, like, think about Trump with Mike Pence behind him and how horrible that feels now. You know, like, we think about that now. I mean, just a little imagery of JD Vance last night going, get him out. You know, get these people out of here.
We just played that, yeah.
It's little things like that JD Vance, and again, this is to credit to Donald Trump, who has had some problems with his personnel choices. That's obviously understandable with him getting into the world of politics in 2016 and really didn't know the world. He's made a few bad choices, let's just call. But JD Vance is such a phenomenal choice right now. And I truly believe that he's the guy that will carry MAGA forward. And it will be his version of MAGA, but he will carry MAGA forward. It won't be the same as Trump. And as I've said many times, JD Vance is honestly, and I don't say this as a slight at Trump, but he does a better job of articulating Trump's points than Trump does. And to non-Trump people, I guess is the way to say it. Because if you love Trump, you love how he talks. You love how he talks noise. You love how he comes across. But there's a certain group of people that aren't crazy leftists that are turned off by Donald Trump's rhetoric, okay? And that's fine. I call them gay, but that's fine. It's whatever. If you can't take a man talking like a man, but whatever, you know,
the bad kind of gay.
Exactly.
The bad kind of gay.
Exactly. No, it's a running joke in my thing. Like, gay means lame is what it means. You know, that's growing up. Gay, when you call something gay, it's like it's lame. It's not. It has nothing to do with sexuality. So but
the great South Park episode on that, by the way, it was hilarious.
Exactly. Like, we're bringing gaming culture back. We're saying gay and retarded all the time. When you call somebody retarded, you're not saying you're actually retarded. You're just saying you're retarded. But yeah, like what we're seeing right now with, you know, how he articulates himself in interviews and things like that. It's very, very difficult for the MAGA crowd, and I'm part of it. It's very difficult for that crowd to say that guy can move forward with MAGA. And they're saying that about JD Vance. So that's if it all works out, you've got 4 years of Trump who's going to lay an amazing foundation. And then you have, 8 years of Vance with carryovers from the Trump administration and things like that. And look at the Democrats. Who do they have? Stephen A. Smith is their front runner right now. That's how bad things are looking for them.
And even he said how pathetic that is. That if I'm the front runner, Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, who I can't even stand listening to talk about sports.
I'm telling you, Stephen A. is going to be a player in the 2028 Democratic primaries. He will.
That would be shocking.
It's because who do they have? Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Tim Walz.
Y'all like, gonna make me play the Jasmine Crockett
Tim Walz says he's in.
And the thing about Stephen A. and Stephen A. is doing this right now in his interviews. Stephen A. is a politician. I've been watching sports long enough to understand that you don't elevate to the top of ESPN for as long as he has without being a politician. He is a politician. He's smart. He's articulate, and he knows what words to use to get his points across. He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with most of what he says, and I've been watching him long enough to cringe at him. But the majority of people are going to be seeing him. They're not going to be seeing the Stephen A. that I know or you know or that we know from ESPN. Like, he's going to come across different, and he knows how to communicate. And it's not so much that I think he's a great candidate. It's that the Democrats have literally nobody, because politics is a game of popularity. It just is. Goes back to Bill Clinton playing a saxophone on Arsenio Hall. No one voted for Bill Clinton because of his policy of being a governor. It was, that guy went on Arsenio Hall and put on some sunglasses and played a saxophone.
That's cool. The night he won.
Right.
Yeah.
George W. Bush. a complete moron, but he was the kind of guy you could have a beer with. And that's what made, America kind of lean towards him. So politics is a popularity contest in a lot of ways, and the Democrats have nobody right now. So it's going to be interesting, man. Politics is the new pop culture.
Yeah, it is.
It just is. It is the new pop culture.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.